Thank you, Ellie. Now, what needs to be noted on that is the tourism sector is highly improving. And what I recently came to know that the Indian tourists who are traveling to Israel are spending $1,200 per visit per person. So this is a huge amount as compared for an Indian to spend. And I think it's a sector which one can really explore about. $1,200 per person per visit, and this is a little bit less than when the Israeli travels, when Israeli students are traveling to India to spend their time after the military. Now I call upon Purushothaman. He's the CEO of the State Bank of India. It's one of the India's largest bank, and he's going to talk about the Indian financial sector.
Good evening. Originally I was supposed to talk about the opportunities of venture capital funds in India. Then I mentioned to Vasu that there is not much of scope for this topic because venture capital funds have not been that popular in India as it's here. It's less popular when compared to the situation here. And the reason is not far to seek. The reason is that Indians have less appetite for risk. So venture capital funds have not been that popular. I mean, it has been there. It has been popular to a limited areas like ITs and ITS. Other areas like pharmaceuticals, real estate, and etc. have been PE funds, that's private equity funds, have been concentrating more on that. And private equity funds have become more popular in India than VCs. VCs are sort of subsets of private equity. So I am shifting my focus to the structure of Indian financial market and the banking sector in India. When I talk about the banking sector, I would like to concentrate more on the State Bank of India because State Bank of India has been the biggest bank in India and it's, you can say, it's proxy to the Indian economy. This one? Not moving. Yeah. Before talking about this financial sector in India, I thought I'll just make a comparison, a sort of, indicative this, between the two, the situation in India and in Israel. See, the major items in this, like the GDP, the major sectors of Indian economy, the growth rate, the total population, the per capita income, and export as percentage of GDP, these are indicators of the huge market that's available for Israeli entrepreneurs. You can see my earlier speakers, Mr. Eli and Madam Wani, they have made this area similar for me because they have talked about the opportunities while talking about the economy in India and the opportunities that could be available. When you talk about the economy, you see the agriculture in Israel it is 2.4% of the GDP, whereas in India it is 19% of the GDP. And that is in India, that's the main stay for the Indians. See the growth rate. Growth rate is around 7%, 6.9% is the latest that's available now. And the per capita income, you see, in Israel it is 27,652, whereas in India it's only 1,017. And export as a percent of GDP, when you see, as a bilateral trade percentage of exports, imports, you see it's 4.4% only Israel, whereas in India it is 0.81%. You can well imagine the scope for movement of trade between these two countries. This Mr. Elias already spoken about the FTA that is likely to be signed between the two countries. That will offer a big opportunity for the Israeli entrepreneurs. India is going to be the hub for, not only for India, it will be for the Middle East also, which is an untapped area for the Israeli entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs can come to India and set up industries there and have joint ventures also, which will give a big opportunity, a big market in the Far East and the Middle East for the Israeli entrepreneurs, which is not possible otherwise right now. And the climate, the political climate is already spoken about by the earlier two speakers. Both the countries are democratic and very liberal. There's a strong judiciary. And press freedom is very much there. The only thing is that press freedom probably is a little more. It's like in Israel, you'll find at least 5 opinions for 3 people. In India also. The Indian financial market. Now coming to the Indian financial market. See, the structure of Indian financial market is like this. Majorly it is divided into two. One is the short term, that's money market and forex market, and then the capital market. The capital market again is divided into debt market and equity market. And debt market is further divided into the private market as well as the government market. And the Indian financial market, these are the major players in the Indian financial market. Short-term finance is by nationalized banks, and then private sector banks, foreign banks, cooperative banks, regional rural banks, cheat finance companies, money lenders, nidhis, etc. These are the major players in Indian financial market. Of course, micro credit organizations are also there in short-term finance. And long-term finance, banks again are the financial institutions, development banks, insurance companies, pension funds, mutual funds, state financial corporations. The regulators. When an entrepreneur is coming to India, these are the regulators with whom probably an entrepreneur will have to interact with. The Reserve Bank of India, of course, as far as banking is concerned, and the Securities and Exchange Board of India, when they want to make investments in shares, etc., mutual funds, etc., or when they want to start companies in that field. And the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, IRDA, as far as the insurance sector is concerned, the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, this is a new sector that has been opened up in 2004, 2005, like that. And then, of course, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. These are the regulators, major regulators in India. And when I talk about the Indian banking sector, as I said earlier, I have to talk about State Bank of India, which is controlling 25% of the Indian market. It's the biggest bank in India, having over 15,000 branches skewed all over India, and over 25,000 ATMs across the country, and 166 offices in 33, now it's 170 offices in 33 countries. This is the largest bank owned by Government of India, having equity at 59%. And this is considered to be the proxy to Indian economy. This is the overseas expansion. These are the places where State Bank of India is located. Except South America, all other places we have presence. This is a financial supermarket. We are into every field. SBI is the main bank. We have got 5 associate banks, and then we have got so many subsidiaries. and they are into everything. SBI Capital Markets is the investment banking arm, and SBI DFHA Limited is the primary dealership company, and SBI Cards and Payments, they are into card service. It's a joint venture, and SBI Life Insurance is there, pension fund is there, SBI Funds Management, that is mutual funds, and Global Factors, SBI General Insurance, like that. The financials of SBI, to know the size and the strength of SBI, you can have a look at the equity capital deposits. I would put this way, to have an idea. Bank Apollum and Bank Leumi you put together, it will be roughly the size of State Bank of India in terms of net worth and capital. Now SBI Tel Aviv, we started our operation in 2007, June. We are here to cater the needs of Israeli entrepreneurs. In fact, many people ask me, are you here to finance India trade? It is not just India trade. We are here primarily to cater to the needs of the Israeli entrepreneurs, especially mid-sector and corporates. We are not given this retail license, so we are into the retail field. You can see the bilateral trade between India and Israel, which was around 200 million in 20 years before, now has crossed, almost touched 5 billion. It's likely to go up to 10 billion probably in the next 10 years. This is our core area. Our products are the letters of credit, bank guarantee, of course. This is like any other bank. And when I mention about the India-Israeli trade, I should not omit the importance of diamond trade between these two countries. Out of the 5 billion, 2.6 billion is from the diamond. It's on account of the diamond business. So, because of that reason, we are stationed at the Diamond Bursa, that is Diamond Exchange, Israeli Diamond Exchange, and we have to necessarily give it the diamond. So, diamond portfolio is one of our major this portfolio. Diamond trade has been growing here mainly because of the reason that the mines are owned mostly by Jews all over the world. And in India, it has been growing mainly because the cheap labor and the expertise that is available for the cutting and polishing, for the value addition. So the major center for value addition is India. And this is here, Israel is the major center for rough diamonds. Our USP is this is the largest bank with experience in credit. We come from a very competitive environment. We have worldwide network. We have large customer base in India with 60% share in government business, core competency in financing, trade and manufacturing sector, expertise in credit and agriculture financing, support of merchant banking and other subsidiaries. I hear that apart from the students, there are some business people also. So I look forward to meeting the business people shortly. Thank you.